Hey everyone, welcome to this video, and today I'll talk about how you can get things done even if you feel depressed or anxious or are just stuck in a place in your life. Alright, so the very first thing I did was to set up my room or my physical space in a way that makes me feel safe. So when you're going through mental illnesses or anything else in your life, a turbulent time, it's very difficult to feel safe within yourself, to feel grounded in reality. So what I did was I created this room of mine and I gave it a makeover so that it would feel like a place where I would like to be, where I would feel safe at night, and also just mentally and emotionally safe. So I would encourage you to think of a time in your life where you felt very happy or try to give some personality to your room. And that is your personality. So your room should reflect who you are, your likes and dislikes, anything that's of value to you, how you are as a person. It can represent anything really. It just needs to feel good to you. So the first thing I did was when I think of a very happy time in my life is when I was a child. I used to watch a lot of TV. Television was a big thing, and just all these cartoon characters and stuff. And I wanted my room to be sort of like a place of that childhood and that happiness and that joy and that innocence and purity and playfulness. And I wanted to capture that, so I made my room so that I would capture that. So I'll show you around my room a bit and the things I did. So here you can see I started with the tapestry. So if you have dirty walls, I encourage you to get a tapestry. Anything that makes you feel good. I put up these lights around it. I got them off Amazon. I can put the links for all these things in the description box below if you would like to purchase some of these things. And then after the tapestry, we have my bed here. And it's a small single bed. Gets the job done, I suppose. It's just me here. And then towards the back here, we have certain posters. So this is an Alice in Wonderland poster. And Alice in Wonderland was sort of like the theme for this room a little bit. It was just the idea of playing on the archetype of the dream child or the wonder child. And then above there, this is a map of the 100-Acre Woods. I don't know if you've ever watched Winnie the Pooh, but when I was little, that was a big thing in my life, and I was really, really happy when I used to watch it all the time. And then we have the Powerpuff Girls right above where I sleep, and the Flintstones. Okay, so that's where I sleep, and that's just the wall above it. And now we're going to talk about work, because work takes up so much of our lives. So wherever you work, you want it to be a place where you feel, work can be boring, so you want the place to feel a little bit exciting. You want to add your own flavor to it. So what I did for my workstation, if you will, is we just have this tiny table here, just wooden, and this tiny, tiny chair. I got this from Walmart. I just built it myself. It's pretty cheap. I can link it in the description below. And then here, what I have is I got these butterfly lights. And then I also put up all these posters that would sort of feel special, or some of them have quotes that just, make sense to me, resonate with me. So we have that entire workplace station set up here. Yeah, because work should feel like play. Maybe don't take that seriously. And then here what I have is the 90s wall. If you're a 90s kid and you watched Cartoon Network, you will know what I'm talking about. So we have SpongeBob, Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo. I don't know how many of you watched this. There's Recess, there's Kids Next Door, Scooby-Doo, my absolute favorite cartoon. I've loved this show since I was 5 years old. There's Tom and Jerry, Oswald, Madeline, and the Jetsons. So I just took this doll wall. I was a student here at Purdue, So I used to get all this printing money, so I just went and just got some printouts of this. Like you see, it's pretty cost-effective way of just adding that personality to your room and just like making it come alive with things that you enjoy. The second thing I want you to notice here is the door. Fascinating. So on top of here you have, this is a Tibetan eye chart. So I just do eye exercises sometimes because we're always just staring at a screen these days. So it's just nice to use this. It just helps relieve some of the eye tension sometimes, I guess. But what I want to talk about here is I also got these chore charts from Walmart. Again, they were very inexpensive, and there's one on the top too. And I use these for just keeping track of like small everyday things, like eye exercises is what I do, or like your workout schedule. Like you could put out, like let's say you want to go to the gym each day, you could put it out there, or you can also put out which days you want and stuff like that. So it's just a nice way to keep track of your routine, I guess. And then here's just, okay, so here is the happy corner. So I think this is, in a sense, what the whole like concept of this safe space is. So I just took this one corner of my room, and in this corner I just made it for play. Because when you're an adult, you don't have a lot of time to like sort of like satisfy and satiate that inner child. So I just kept this place in my room. I got like a rug, and I just decorated it with, I'll show you these cutouts I got of the Mad Hatter, and here's the bunny, the March Hare, I think, and that's Alice in Wonderland. And then these are just some cutouts of some quotes I had. But yeah, this is the safe space part of my room. Ooh, okay. So here I just like to sit down. And if you're not feeling very well, or if you're just having any dark thoughts, I just like to come here and just be with myself here and allow myself to feel whatever I'm feeling. That's what I do here. It's just like, this is the place where I can be myself, and it's just a demarcation of who I am from the outside reality. So it's just my personal space. So again, my recommendation would be that, I know like part of depression is like you have these rooms which are dull and lackluster, and you can get messy sometimes. And I think that the first step you can always take is just take care of your physical space. Just get up, clean your room up. My room gets into a mess often, and then I clean it up. Just keep doing that. I think that if you have an environment around you that's sort of like clean, but also that's something that makes you feel good, feel happy, you want to be in a space where you feel well, then I think that could really help alleviate some of that constant sense of like dread that you feel. So that would be the first step, according to me, is to just take your room, small or big, and just give it a spin based on your personality. And you can spend as much money as you want and as little money as you want. A lot of these are just printouts. They're just pictures I printed off the printer of my library. So like you said, see, it doesn't have to be expensive. Just invest in yourself. You are totally worth it, and you deserve to feel good all the time, and you especially deserve to feel good in your own personal room. So now we're in the happy place of the room, and now that we're past the first step, which was to sort of create your surroundings to your liking and to your own personal happiness and comfort level, I'll move on to talk about some of the things I did in terms of just making sure that I was getting my assignments done on time, just the everyday practical things, making sure I'm keeping track of my appointments, sending out the emails I need to, and just getting things like grocery shopping and stuff like that done. So we'll talk about I'll talk about some of the things I did to sort of help beat that sense of overwhelm and hopelessness that can be a part of this journey. So the first thing I think you should do is to know your patterns. So for me, what that means essentially is that you sort of take a step back and watch and observe your own feelings and thoughts. So, what times of the day are you most likely to feel more energetic? And what kinds of things can trigger you? So, for example, for me personally, it was really difficult to just get up and going in the morning. Um, it was just very overwhelming to get out the door, get it all done. And so, what I did was I tried to create routines and habits that would help me feel less overwhelmed in the morning. So, an example would be um, I feel better at night. Like as the day progresses, my mood would improve, is what I noticed. So I created these sort of set of rules that would help me make my mornings a bit easier, and I'll show you what I wrote down. So I have this engineering paper here, and you see there's rules for night. So the things I started to do is I started to shower at night. Um, I also decided to sort of organize my room at night, clean it up at night, pick out my next day's outfit. Uh, the other thing is to like pack up your belongings and all the things you'll need in the morning. Say you go to school or you go to work, just like to pack up that bag at night so you don't have to do it in the morning. And I also wrote down some like bedtimes. So I gave myself a curfew for 11 p.m. on school nights or college nights, I guess. And then I also put in a max bedtime of 1 a.m. if I ever like decided to go out on say Friday or Saturday. So that's what this could look like for you. Another thing I did was the chores every week that people just push off to the weekends. I was too overwhelmed to do all of it in just one day over the weekend. So I sort of just broke it down to smaller days, and then I just wrote down those days for it. So like here, wrong page. Yes, right page. So like on Wednesday, I decided I'd go grocery shopping. Statistically, there's lesser crowds at the grocery store on Wednesdays, and that's why I picked that day. I usually try to do my laundry on Thursdays, and so the whole concept was I just try to like break down my chores throughout the week, and so that way I could rest more on the weekends and do things I actually want to do. But yeah, so the idea again is to just know your patterns, know what times, situations, places feel best to you, and then make all these rules or take these small but concrete actionable steps that can help you sort of release the resistance you feel towards doing certain things, is what I'm trying to say. So once you know your patterns, the second thing I think you should do is to try to sort of, it's called chunking. So you want to break down all these things that overwhelm you into smaller, really bite-sized pieces. Now this will, depending on where you are at, and this will look different for different people. So try not to be judgmental of yourself when you're doing this process. So I found an example. So we were talking about chunking and breaking things down into small bite-sized pieces, no matter how personally ridiculous it sounds. So I have an example scenario, which may or may not be close to reality for me, and I may or may not have used this in the past. So this is just emailing a professor I had, and some of the steps I wrote down is locate your laptop, find your charger, plug your charger in, turn on your computer, open Microsoft Office, write out your email, and hit send. And I just used this example because I just wanted you to know that there's nothing that's too ridiculous to put on there. But the concept is that if you ever feel like there's a task that you're simply not able to get past and it's overwhelming you so much, it's just always a good idea to take a piece of paper or whatever's near you, a whiteboard, anything, and just write it down. Write it down, scratch it off. Whatever helps you to get from A to B. That's all you need to focus on. We're just looking from A to B. So that's what I mean by chunking and breaking your overwhelming tasks into smaller tasks that you won't feel too afraid to sort of like try to tackle. So in conjunction with that, the whole like concept of chunking, I'll also talk a bit about the things I did to sort of hold myself accountable and just make sure that I was getting things done again. So I use in particular 3 things, and I'll show you what those are. And I'd also like to point out that I'm just a colorful person, so I just like to use a lot of sparkly things. You don't have to do any of these things, and you can have your own systems, and I'm sure there's a lot more efficient ways out there too. So I usually use my stickers, and I'll get all these stickers, I'll get these colorful pens, I'll use post-it notes. So you're gonna need these things if you're gonna do what I did. So what I usually do, just to keep on track of things, and I'm looking for something here, that's why I'm looking here, is, you wanna get a planner. I got this from Walmart, pretty inexpensive. You can find it at your closest department store, or you could even order the fancy ones online. I just got this because it works for me. You can also just use a notebook or just a sheet of paper. The only thing I would say is if you use a sheet of paper, the drawback is you could keep misplacing it and you won't have it in any one location. So make sure whatever you use, you have something that has a central location and you can keep going back to it and keep checking you're doing those things. So I just do a very simple way. You can look here, I'll just write down everything I need to do in a day and just scratch it off. I try to get most things done, but that's not the point. It's just a way for you to sort of hold yourself accountable and make sure that whatever you need to do is out there for you to see. You can keep checking it. To keep myself extra accountable, and because I struggle more, and because I was talking about the whole concept of chunking, is I'll do this thing. If you can look at it, I don't know if it will pan out, but I'll just write down the things I need to do. And then once I'm done with it, I'll just put a sticker on there, like the stickers I was using before. And then that's how I know I've done it. So I'll just keep these 2 things with me each day. You can also just get rid of the post-it notes. Once you're done, just get rid of it. Again, it's not the most energy efficient way, but this is only if you're really, really struggling and you would just want to give it a try. The whole idea behind this is a positive reinforcement. So whatever helps you get that reinforcement going is what you should try. The last thing I do, we've already talked about this, is using this habit tracker, it's a chore chart. So I'll just write down all the things I need to do in a day that I try to do every day. So there's running and swimming on there for me. And each day I'll just put a check mark against it. So again, these are the 3 things I use, which are sort of physical things that you can touch and write on. There's a whole host of things that you could do online. So if you're the kind of person where you don't want to have to deal with all these things, you could use Google Calendar is what I use. But I'm sure there's a host of apps online that can help you sort of keep track of your assignments, your work obligations, and things like that. So in summary, I'm trying to say is that what you need to do is to make things which seem difficult, just break it down into smaller pieces, and then just make sure you have a way of writing those pieces out and just holding yourself accountable for finishing those. And I would encourage you to do it through positive reinforcement. So that way you would feel like you're accomplishing things, even if they're small things, but it's still helping you to go from A to B. So now we're gonna move on to the last part of my video. I've made this video in segments, and if you can hear the rain outside, it's because it's raining outside. So moving on to the last part of this video, I would just call this segment, it's just called Honor Yourself. So I just want to point out that these are just things that I tried over the past 1 year to just help me sort of get from A to B. The whole concept behind this is progress and not perfection. I don't do these things perfectly every single day. I have slip-ups, I make mistakes, and if you sort of like struggle to sort of just maintain a schedule or adopt these healthy habits, know that it's like a process, it's not an overnight thing, and I'd encourage you to sort of just practice that self-compassion towards yourself and just avoid beating yourself up over it. Another thing I would like to emphasize is to sort of like take care of yourself and also indulge yourself. Take that time to, go get that massage if you want, buy things that you don't really need, buy teddy bears, or buy a lunchbox, a Scooby-Doo lunchbox. But also just things that you need to do to self-soothe. Maybe you like to take a bubble bath, or maybe you like to eat ice cream, or maybe you like to color in a coloring book. Whatever feels good to you, please keep taking care of yourself and adopt these strategies in a way that is useful to you. And if you have any tips or tricks or any other things that you've done that's helped you through depression, please absolutely feel free to share those things in the comments below. I would love to read them. And if you got anything out of this video or you liked it, please like the video, share it with your friends and family, or if you want to subscribe, feel free to do that too. And thank you so much for watching my video, and I really appreciate the time you took. Thank you.